Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. And we continue to stream stories every day about entrepreneurship and business. And this next story, it started a generation ago. And for me, it only started probably about 15 years ago, because I've known Al DeNapoli, the person in our screen, since we were both co-founders of the Family Business Association. But we're not here to talk about the Family Business Association. Well, maybe a little bit. And we're not here to talk about the law. We're here to talk about Debevino Winery. Welcome, Al.
Hey, welcome, Jeff. Good to see you.
So,
Looking,
is
you're
that
looking
a
good, if
pivot?
I may say so.
Thank you very much. But Debevino Winery, this is from one of Boston's leading litigators. What a pivot is that?
We all ready to go in any direction as possible. People always say to me at the winery, "Oh, so have you realized your dream?" I always tell them I didn't realize this was my dream. My dream was to be in a lounge chair on the beach with a nice book and a beer at this point. But the story goes back, and it kind of led to this. Some of my cousins, some of our customers say it seemed something inevitable that this was going to happen. And if you like, I'd give you some of the background of the story.
Love the story, Al.
So the Debevino Winery is made up of three families. We blended our names together 20 years ago, never knowing we were going to be able to do this in a winery. We were bringing jugs of homemade wine to parties, and people would say, "Who made that wine?" And we said, "We did. Why don't you put your name on it?" So we just weren't going to put DeNapoli, Bevilacqua, and Arpino, the three families. We figured we'd blend the names together, which my cousin did one night with a Scrabble set, putting all the letters together, and came up with Debevino. D in Italian means of. Bev is kind of a word that the root of beverage and other things that mean drink. Their name is Bevilacqua, which means drink water. And then my cousin Dom Arpino gave us the INO, and we could make a drink of wine out of our combined names. And the three families go back to Avellino in Italy, where my father and the Bevilacqua's father came from the same little town called Torronicello. Torronicello means town of the nuts. We think our parents are probably looking down at us now and say, "What a bunch of nuts." But it basically means the nuts of the hazelnut trees that were in the valley. So we all came from Avellino. They came to Rosendale when they immigrated to the United States. They brought winemaking equipment and the skill of making wine. What they didn't have is cheap labor, but once they had kids, they put us to work as soon as we could pick up 36 pounds of grapes and help them make wine in the basement. And then when they stopped doing it, we continued. And little did we know, after 40 plus years of making wine in the basement, we would end up opening a winery in January 2020.
And how are you doing your sales?
Sales, because of the specific wine and alcohol license we have, it's called a farm winery license. It's a license that you need to get both from the federal government and the municipality and the state. And it allows you only to sell the wine you make. So we sell it just on site at the winery. We can sell it when people coming in for tastings. They can buy glasses of wine, and then they can leave with bottles and cases of wine if they would like.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you hang up your litigator apparel and work on the weekends in the winery?
Yes, I do. Last weekend, I was off from the winery, so that was nice. I get to spend some time with the family and doing some litigation work on the side too during the weekend. But yeah, there seems to be able to work out okay. It's busy out there. It'd be busy in the harvest time when the grapes come in, and the grapes come in directly from our source of grapes in Suisun Valley in California. Suisun Valley is a little southeast of Napa Valley, a premier area for growing grapes, and we source all our grapes from there. They ship the red grapes in sometime in September, maybe late August, sometimes later, early October. They ship them into Boston. We are there to accept them and squeeze them, and then have them ferment. And then we crush the rest of the juice out of them and have it sit on fermentation tanks until about a year later. During that time, we're always working with it to get the taste that we want.
Well, I'm going to blend a couple of stories together. Some our listeners know, some are don't. You were also a school teacher before you were an attorney, and you mentioned nuts. And speaking to the school teacher about you, you've now worked with attorneys in a law firm for many years, and now you're working with family. Two different types of nuts. Is it a big transition?
Yeah, you and I, Jeff, spent many years in the Family Business Association, working with families to try to help them through the difficulty of balancing both a business and a family. One by themselves is difficult, and then you put the two of them together, it complicates more than twofold, if you will. But I've really been able to use some of the skills that I learned from in the Family Business Association and in the legal world to work together with my best friends, my family, my 4 partners here, to make it go smoothly. And it has. There's no doubt about it. When any kind of business and family people get together, there's 5 different opinions. Some people say you put 2 lawyers in the room, you get 4 different opinions. So maybe I have more than one, but we all have opinions of how to do things, but we have all been able to put our ego aside and basically just work collaboratively. Kind of the most funniest thing was right from the beginning, because we talk about families, our children are involved. One of the smartest things we did, though one of the most difficult things, is when we first started, our children said to us, okay, you guys know how to make wine. You guys know how to talk to people and socialize. But dads, you have no taste whatsoever. Look at the way you dress. So what's the matter with the way I dress? We have to dress you. Get out of the way. We're going to design the architect in the building. We're going to design the logo. We're going to design the labels. We're going to do the website. We're going to do the social media. You guys know you're going to kill it if you try to touch this stuff. It was difficult to give up that touch of how we wanted things to look. But we, again, put our egos aside and said, they're probably right. We stepped aside. My son's an architect. He designed the whole inside and the patio. Rich Bevilacqua's daughter is a graphic designer. She did the logo. She did the labels on the bottles. Here's an example of one of them.
Beautiful bottle.
Label. She did the website, and my daughter Maria does all the social media. We have a number of our children also serving wine to our guests, waiters or bartenders at the winery. So, and our wives are involved too. So it's been a real family affair. Been interesting.
It sounds like a dozen people at least.
It is. But yeah. So
are you serving food with the wine?
Yes. Probably one of the things that came out of the pandemic was the governor's order that if you just were serving alcohol, you were considered a bar and you couldn't open until stage 4 of the wine, that. But we had food. We make charcuteries. We make like an antipasto, a cheese charcuterie, and we also have a Mediterranean and a veggie with hummus and veggies. We don't make the hummus ourselves, but we buy it and we bring it in, put it together. We're branching out. We have some food trucks that have come in. We have a chef that we're associated with from Medfield who's come in and did pairings of food with wine. We have a gentleman who made paellas on site, and we had a combination of paella and wine. So we have a lot of different things going on at the winery relative to food and not only wine. We have music from time to time, more and more as the year progresses. This is our only second, summer season, if you will. Last year, because of the pandemic, we didn't really even open a patio until this weekend, June 21st. So we're ahead of the game. We opened on April 15th this year. And we have more than doubled our patio. We bought a tent this year. The tent can fit about 50 people in it. It's right at the front of the patio. It's all lit. We have a nice setting. I think we probably can fit about 150 people in the whole patio area if it was jam-packed.
And a nice relaxing break with a little glass of wine.
Nothing like it. Yeah. And people seem to really enjoy the wine. We are not only serving, none of us ran a business. I'm a litigation attorney. I never really ran a business. My other cousin's an engineer. Another one was a journalist who worked for a number of companies doing internal communication. And then my other two cousins, they ran small business units of telephone companies. So they had a little bit of a sense of putting together budgets and stuff like that. But it's brand new. It's brand new, all of us. So as I tell people, we're making it up as we go along. And then COVID came along, of course, and really said, okay, now you really got to make it up as you go along. And we did. We kept everyone safe, both our customers and ourselves, while still giving them what they wanted. And, we're on the right side of it now.
Well, I think you're going to have to twist our producer, Nathan's arm, to do a remote. We haven't done one since before COVID at your winery and do a show there.
You tell me how to grab his arm and twist it, I'll be glad to do it. I think no one will be disappointed.
Wow.
Not only do we have great wines, if I may say so myself, because of the source of the grapes from the premier region, and we know how to make wine. We also have what has become a hit, especially during the summer, our wine slushies.
Well, maybe we'll have to have one of our reporters meetings at your winery and invite the infamous Mark Furman to the meeting, and we can have him speak as well.
Isn't he a co-host sometimes with you on the show?
He is our longest standing reporter.
Okay.
So we just turn the mic on and we just sit back. Once Mark gets going, you just turn it off after 12 to 15 minutes.
Quiet
Last interview with Mark, he was talking about depositions and litigation for entrepreneurships and what a pain that is. So, but again, Al, great having you on the show. If somebody's looking for you in the winery, how do they find you?
They can find us at Debevino.com. Pretty easy to just find our website up there. The telephone number is there. We have an email address at hello@debevino.com. And I think all the information that people really need to know is on the website at debevino.com. We're located right on Route 1 in Walpole, probably about 1.5 miles north of Gillette Stadium on the south side of Route 1. Can't miss it. Like I said, we have a big patio area. People come in, relax, have some wine, have a little something to eat, and enjoy the festivities.
And knowing you for as long as I have, you must be a great host that creates a great atmosphere. I want to thank you for being on the show today, Al, and I'll leave it all in your hands and Nathan's hands to see what we're doing next, but I look forward to it. And I know somebody in my house who's going to want to come with me.
Well, please bring her, and I think you all enjoy it. I look forward to it too, Jeff.
Right. Remind everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs, and don't miss, take a look at what Al's doing. If he's doing it well. I know that. So thank you very much, and remind everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs.